My name is Jenny Butler and I hold a PhD in folklore and ethnology, and I work here in University College Cork in the Study of Religions department. I research lots of different aspects of folklore, including ritual, festival, and especially festivals in the ritual year of Ireland and the Celtic regions. I am very interested in ancient mythological traditions, so I look at the relationship between myth in different parts of the world, magical traditions, and contemporary people. So here in University College Cork, we have the largest collection in Ireland of ogham stones, or ogham, which is the Irish language term for a form of writing, which you can see on the markings on these stones, similar to the Norse rune stones. And there's different suggestions about what these stones were for. Some have suggested that they're markers for place, for territory, land boundaries, and others have suggested a spiritual significance, possibly like the rune stones were used for casting, like divination or for fortune telling. Maybe the ogham stones were used for that as well. Nobody knows for sure. So I also research people's sense of place in relation to folk belief and how places get their names, so legends and landscape. And I have a project at the moment, for example, looking at fairy beings and otherworldly traditions in relation to the land of Ireland, Iceland and Newfoundland in Canada. Here we are at a reconstruction of a mud cabin that people would have lived in during the famine times, during the Great Hunger as it's known, in 1845. And it's a famine house, so when there was a series of famines in Ireland in the 1800s, and in 1845 there was what's called the Great Famine or the Great Hunger, because it's contested as there was a famine, but people were starved when there was actually food available, and people would live in structures like this. And part of my research includes death studies, so death ritual, but also the oral tradition or folklore surrounding death. And some of that folklore stretches right back to the famine, when so many people were dying that they couldn't bury them in graveyards because of the mass, just the volume of people dying, but also because the people were too weak and hungry to actually physically move the bodies. So there's patches of land out in fields that are called areas of hungry grass, and because they're unmarked graves, they're just patches of land that would be locally known. And there's stories about people going for a walk, especially in unfamiliar territory, where they would suddenly get terrible hunger pangs, and so bad that they would collapse and could possibly die and starve and die. So the remedy for that in the folk tradition is to bring pieces of bread in one's pocket and to eat that as a counter charm, if you like. And similar traditions spread with the Irish emigration to Newfoundland in Canada, and there the tradition of bringing bread in your pockets is mostly associated with fairies as a way to ward off the fairies so that they don't take you away into the other world. So it's not known whether this legend migrated and changed because there wasn't a famine in Newfoundland, or whether it's a merging together or a syncretic tradition, which is also a process that happens where different beliefs and practices mix together and take on new meanings.